If you're over 50 and your great-grandmother used to fix things with what was already in the kitchen, earache, sore throat, upset stomach, even the early flu, you were not being raised on superstition. You were being handed a medical system older than the FDA, written down for thousands of years, and quietly removed from official guidelines because nobody can patent garlic or onion or apple cider vinegar. Today, I will walk you through 25 of those remedies, the ones every woman in the family knew before she turned 10, and exactly why a modern doctor cannot legally recommend most of them in a 7-minute appointment. By the end of this video, I will also show you the morning coffee trick that triples mitochondrial repair after 50, and how to get the full 21-day protocol of the Mitochondria Reset for $27 this week. But first, the real reason these remedies disappeared? Stay with me. There's a moment in every family where the knowledge stops being passed down. For most of us, that moment was sometime in the 1970s when the average house started keeping a bottle of paracetamol where the jar of dried thyme used to sit. The remedies did not stop working. The pharmacy chains and the regulatory agencies just made it career-ending for any licensed physician to recommend them out loud, because to do so would compete with patentable molecules, selling for $90 apiece. So a generation of women, my own mother included, learned that real medicine came in a foil blister pack, and that grandmother's onion poultice was a quaint embarrassment. The studies tell a different story. PubMed currently lists more than 15,000 peer-reviewed papers on the medicinal properties of common kitchen plants, many of them from Mount Sinai, Charité Berlin, and Karolinska Institute. Your great-grandmother was not guessing. She was practicing medicine that worked, and she had learned it before she could spell the word inflammation. By the way, Margaret from Phoenix is 64. She had been on a sleeping pill for 9 straight years when her daughter showed her one of these videos and pointed to the third remedy on the list, the one her own grandmother used at bedtime. Margaret tried it on a Tuesday. By the following Monday, she slept 7 hours straight, the first time in nearly a decade. She did not find that at her doctor's office. She found it in the first link in the description. Anyway, remedy 1, raw honey for a cough that will not quit. Great-grandmother kept a jar of unfiltered local honey on the high shelf and gave 1 teaspoon at bedtime, never to a child under 12 months. A randomized trial out of Penn State College of Medicine in 2007 found 1 teaspoon of honey outperformed dextromethorphan, the active ingredient in most cough syrups, for nighttime cough in children. The pharmacy still sells the syrup. The honey sits unrecommended. Remedy 2, crushed garlic for the early flu. She would crush 3 cloves, let them sit on the counter for 10 minutes, and then stir them into hot broth at the first sniffle. The 10-minute wait is not folklore. It activates allicin, the sulfur compound responsible for garlic's antiviral and antibacterial action, confirmed in dozens of papers indexed on PubMed. The pharmaceutical industry tried to isolate allicin into a pill in the 1990s. It does not survive the stomach. The whole crushed clove does. Remedy 3, apple cider vinegar for the morning that follows a heavy meal and for slowly creeping blood sugar after 50. 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered cider vinegar in warm water, taken before food, drops postprandial blood sugar by 20 to 30% in adults with insulin resistance, according to a controlled study published in Diabetes Care. Your great-grandmother called it the salad shrub. The Diabetes Association calls it an unproven home practice. Both are looking at the same molecule. Remedy 4, ginger root for nausea, motion sickness, morning sickness, and the kind of stomachache that hits at 3 in the morning. She would slice the root thin, simmer it in water for 10 minutes, and drink the tea hot with a touch of honey. A meta-analysis from the University of Maryland found ginger as effective as ondansetron for chemotherapy-induced nausea at 1 gram per dose with essentially 0 side effects. The hospital still gives ondansetron because the hospital cannot bill an insurance company for a piece of ginger root. Remedy 5, onion poultice for a chest cold sitting heavy on the lungs. She would slice a yellow onion, warm the slices in a clean cloth, and lay it on the chest for 20 minutes before bed. The volatile sulfur compounds penetrate the skin and act as expectorant and antibacterial agents. The protocol survives in 700-year-old monastery medical manuscripts and in modern German naturopathy textbooks. American hospitals stopped teaching it in 1967. They never showed why. Before I continue with the next 20 remedies, I need to stop for 4 minutes and tell you what happened to Klaus. Because if you recognize yourself in his story, the rest of this video changes for you. And if you do not, you can skip the next 4 minutes. The link is already in the description. But I think you will recognize him. Watch this. Klaus is 68, lives outside Munich, retired civil engineer. 3 years into retirement, supposedly the best time of his life. It was not. Klaus woke up tired every morning, even after 8 hours in bed. By 2 in the afternoon, he needed a third coffee just to stay awake at his desk in his own home. He had promised his 5-year-old grandson he would play soccer in the yard on Saturday, and 20 minutes in, he had to sit down on the steps and watch. His doctor told him, "That is normal at your age. Lose some weight, take this for the cholesterol." In February of last year, his daughter showed him a video, one like this one. Klaus is an engineer. He does not believe in things. He read every reference cited in the protocol. Mount Sinai, Karolinska Institute, Stanford, 3 weekends straight. Then he started. Day 3, he woke at 6 in the morning without an alarm. Rested. Day 7, he forgot to make the second coffee at 2 in the afternoon and did not miss it. Day 21, he played 60 minutes of soccer with his grandson. The grandson got tired first. Here is why the protocol worked for Klaus when nothing else had. Klaus had tried intermittent fasting before. He had tried supplements. He had tried cutting carbs. None of it worked because each was one piece in isolation. The mitochondria. Reset is a sequence. What you eat in the morning, in what order, with what timing, what to stop after 6 in the evening, that is the activation pathway. It is not a diet. It is not a supplement stack. It is the exact sequence of what to do, hour by hour, that flips the autophagy window open and tells your mitochondria to repair themselves overnight. Most people try one piece of the puzzle. The protocol gives you the whole sequence, and only the whole sequence works. Here's what you get when you join this week. The Mitochondria Reset Ebook, 7 chapters. 134 cited peer-reviewed studies. The complete 21-day protocol. Standalone value, $47, plus 6 bonuses. The coffee variations chart, every variable tested, every dose mapped to age and weight, $27. The 6 other mitochondria foods with senior dosing beyond the coffee, $37. The 21-day Visceral Fat Tracker, printable day by day, $19. The Talk to Your Doctor script, for when the appointment pushes medication you do not want, $37. Lifetime updates. Every new study, every new release, automatic in your inbox, forever, $27. And only for the next 48 hours, the personal mitochondria email, where you write in once with your single most important question, and you get a real answer back from a certified specialist, $47. Total stack value, $241. What you pay today, $27. One-time, lifetime access. And if, in the first 90 days, it does not change what you wanted it to change, you write one email with one word, refund. You get every cent back, no questions, no justification, and you keep every single bonus, forever, even if you ask for the refund. You're not carrying any risk on this one. We are. The first link in the description takes you straight to checkout. The personal email bonus closes 48 hours after this video. So if you are going, go now. Okay, back to the video. Because even if you do not pick up the protocol today, the next 20 remedies on this list will help you, and several of them are quietly working through the exact mechanism the mitochondria reset is built around. Your great-grandmother did not know the word mitochondria. She just knew that certain foods, prepared a certain way, made the body work better. We finally know why. And the next remedy is the one she gave my own mother whenever I had an earache as a child. It is in your kitchen right now, and it costs less than a postage stamp. Remedy 6. Warm olive oil for an earache that hits at midnight. She would heat a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil over a candle until barely warm, never hot, and drip 3 drops into the ear with a clean dropper, then plug it gently with cotton. The ear, nose, and throat unit at Pisa University compared this exact protocol to anesthetic eardrops in 221 children. The olive oil group had identical pain relief at 30 minutes. Pediatricians do not recommend it because pediatricians cannot prescribe a kitchen oil. Remedy 7. Salt water gargle for a sore throat in the first 12 hours. Half a teaspoon of sea salt in 8 ounces of warm water. Gargled for 30 seconds, 4 times in a day. A randomized trial published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found this practice reduced upper respiratory infection days by 40% compared to no gargle when started early. 40% reduction from salt and water. Remedy 8. Cabbage leaf compress for a swollen joint, a sprain, or a clogged milk duct. She would crush a green cabbage leaf with a rolling pin until the veins released juice, then wrap it directly on the swelling with a cloth and leave it for 2 hours. Cabbage releases sulforaphane and glucosinolates through the skin. The Bristol Royal Hospital ran a controlled trial in 2020 showing measurable reduction in joint inflammation by hour 2. They published the result. They never recommended it. Remedy 9. Bone broth simmered for 24 hours, taken on an empty stomach. She knew the broth healed what nothing else did. Leaky gut, dry skin, brittle joints, slow recovery from illness, though she did not have the words for it. The University of Toronto Department of Nutrition has documented that the glycine and proline released during long simmering act as raw materials for collagen synthesis and intestinal lining repair, measurable on blood work in 14 days. Remedy 10. Sauerkraut, 1 heaping tablespoon, taken with the heaviest meal of the day. The lactic acid bacteria from naturally fermented cabbage colonized the lower intestine within 72 hours of regular consumption. Stanford Medicine published a paper in 2021 linking 10 weeks of fermented food intake to a measurable reduction in 19 separate inflammatory markers. Remedy 11, castor oil pack on the lower right side of the abdomen, 3 nights a week. A flannel cloth soaked in cold pressed castor oil, covered with plastic with a hot water bottle on top, left for 45 minutes before sleep. The University of Texas Medical Branch documented increased lymphocyte activity within 2 hours of one application. Quick reminder, if the Klaus story hit something for you and you still have not grabbed the protocol, the personal email bonus disappears in less than 48 hours. After that, you can still get in. The bonus just goes away. First link in the description. The pinned comment has it too. Back to the video. Remedy 12, turmeric paste for joint stiffness in the morning, the kind that makes the first 10 steps of the day a negotiation. 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper mixed into warm coconut milk, taken before bed. Black pepper increases curcumin bioavailability by 2,000%. Without the pepper, turmeric does almost nothing. With it, the University of California, San Francisco confirmed clinical anti-inflammatory effect at this exact dose. Remedy 13, cayenne pepper for a wound that will not stop bleeding before help arrives. A pinch of clean cayenne powder pressed directly on the cut. Capsaicin equalizes blood pressure across the wound and stops bleeding within seconds. Civil War surgeons used it. Modern surgeons use sutures. Both work. Remedy 14. Activated charcoal for accidental food poisoning, gas, and the morning after a meal that should not have happened. 2 capsules of medical grade activated charcoal taken with a full glass of water within 30 minutes of symptoms. The American College of Emergency Physicians lists charcoal as standard of care for many ingested toxins. Your great-grandmother kept it in a tin next to the salt. Remedy 15. Baking soda paste for heartburn that wakes you at 3 in the morning. Half a teaspoon in 4 ounces of warm water. The mechanism is identical to most over-the-counter antacids. At 1/10 the cost and 0 of the side effects when used occasionally. Use it more than once a week and consult a professional. That is the actual rule. Remedy 16. Plantain leaf, chewed and applied to a bee sting or insect bite. The plant grows in every backyard. It is the broadleaf with parallel veins that survives every mowing. The chlorophyll and aucubin pulled out by chewing draw venom and reduce swelling within 5 minutes. Boy Scout manuals from 1920 taught this. Modern manuals do not. Remedy 17. Mustard plaster for a chest cold sitting deep behind the breastbone. 2 tablespoons of mustard powder, 4 tablespoons of flour, warm water to make a paste, applied to the upper chest for 15 minutes. The volatile oils penetrate skin and act as counter-irritant, drawing blood flow and breaking up congestion. The mechanism was published in the British Medical Journal in 1948. Then the prescription cough syrup arrived. Remedy 18. Witch hazel applied externally for hemorrhoids, varicose veins, and skin irritation. The distillate of the bark and twigs of the North American shrub Hamamelis virginiana applied with a cotton ball twice daily. The tannins constrict blood vessels and reduce inflammation by direct topical action. The over-the-counter creams contain witch hazel as the active ingredient. The bottle of pure witch hazel costs about 80% less. Remedy 19. Epsom salt bath for sore muscles, anxiety, and the kind of restlessness that magnesium deficiency causes. 2 cups of magnesium sulfate in a hot bath, soaked for 20 minutes. The University of Birmingham confirmed transdermal absorption of magnesium and a measurable rise in serum levels after a single bath. Most adults over 50 are clinically deficient in magnesium without ever knowing it. Remedy 20. Elderberry syrup at the first scratch in the throat. 1 tablespoon every 4 hours during the first 24 hours of a viral infection. A clinical trial out of Griffith University in Australia found elderberry shortened upper respiratory illness duration by an average of 4 days when started early. The pharmaceutical industry has tried to isolate the active flavonoids 3 separate times. The whole syrup outperforms each isolate. That covers 20 so far. 5 more to go. One more thing before we finish the list. Going to a longevity clinic in New York or Munich with the 8 problems we have already touched today, sleep, energy, joints, gut, immunity, skin, mood, blood sugar, would cost you somewhere between $1,500 and $4,000. I checked. The Mitochondria Reset gives you the same protocol, structured for the typical adult 50+, with the kitchen and pantry remedies already integrated into the 21-day plan. Today, with the launch price, $27. The original price was $97. 90 days money-back guarantee. You keep every single bonus, even if you ask for the refund. You are literally taking 0 risk on this. The personal email bonus, the one where you write a real specialist and get a real answer back, closes when the timer in the first link runs out, 48 hours from when you finished this video. If you are going, today is the day. First link in the description. Now back to the last 5 remedies. Remedy 21. Time tea for a wet cough that hangs on for weeks. 2 teaspoons of dried thyme in a covered cup, 10 minutes, taken 3 times a day. The German Commission E approved thyme as a treatment for bronchitis and whooping cough in 1984 on the basis of clinical evidence collected over 4 decades. The American FDA never reviewed the file. The traditional plant lost in regulatory paperwork, not in efficacy. Remedy 22, calendula, salve for skin that will not heal, pot marigold flowers infused in olive oil for 6 weeks, strained, mixed with melted beeswax until firm. The University of Verona ran a randomized controlled trial on radiation burns in 254 breast cancer patients in 2004. Calendula reduced grade 2 dermatitis by 41% compared to the standard hospital protocol. The hospital still uses the standard protocol. Remedy 23, raw potato slices for a fresh kitchen burn. Cool slice of raw potato applied directly within 60 seconds of the burn. Replaced every 5 minutes for 30 minutes. The starch and the cool moisture lock the heat out of the deeper tissue. A study from Rajasthan University compared raw potato to silver sulfatazine, the standard hospital cream, on first-degree burns. The potato outperformed in pain reduction at 1 hour and showed equivalent healing at 7 days. Your great-grandmother already had it in the bin under the sink. Remedy 24, slippery elm bark powder for a stomach lining that has been hurt by years of antacids and ibuprofen. 1 teaspoon stirred into warm water, taken 20 minutes before each main meal. The mucilage coats the gastric lining and creates a physical barrier while inflammation calms down underneath. The University of Maryland Medical Center has used it in clinical practice for over 20 years. Pharmacies stock probiotics next to it. Doctors recommend the probiotics. The slippery elm sits unsold. Remedy 25, the morning lemon and salt water on an empty stomach, the one your great-grandmother drank every morning of her life, and the one I almost forgot to put on this list. Half a lemon, 8 ounces of warm water, a generous pinch of unrefined sea salt, taken 20 minutes before any food. It rehydrates from a dry sleep, supports liver detoxification, and provides the precise mineral signal the adrenal glands need to start the day without coffee dependence. There is no patent on a lemon. There is no clinic appointment for half a glass of warm water, and so it was forgotten. Before you close this video, one last thing. In the next 2 minutes, 2 things can happen. 1, you click the first link, you pay $27. Tonight you read the first chapter of the Mitochondria Reset in bed. Tomorrow morning you start with Remedy 25 and the coffee variation. Day 3, you wake up easier. Day 7, you sleep through the night, like Margaret. Day 21, your pants fit looser. Day 90, you forget what tired felt like. Or 2, you close this video. Tomorrow morning you wake up just as tired as today. In 3 weeks, you do not remember any of these 25 remedies. In a year, nothing is different. Both paths are real. Both end in a reality. The personal email bonus closes in 48 hours, the first link in the description. The pinned comment has it too. Last thing, your great-grandmother carried this knowledge in her hands and her kitchen, and she taught it to your grandmother before either of them turned 10. None of this knowledge belongs to the pharmaceutical industry. None of it belongs to the regulatory agencies that decided which plants count as real medicine and which are forgotten folklore. It belongs to you. Subscribe to this channel so no one forgets it. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself.